thought about it, to be completely honest, but it is weird. €1, 96 cents. That's insane. Hold on. I'm not gonna lie. That's actually a lot for Europe. Whoa. 4 weeks. You get a whole month off in Europe at least? That's incredible. What is up? Welcome back. Today we're reacting to a video titled American Things Europeans Can't Understand. I know there's a lot of these, and so I'm actually curious exactly what this video is going to talk about because I know there's a lot of funny things that are huge differences. What's up? If you haven't met me yet, my name is Aaron, and this is Aaron Arnold Reacts. Through this channel, I'm discovering everything about Europe. People, culture, sports, anything you can imagine. The goal of this channel is to laugh together, to learn together, and to have fun together. So if you're here for the very first time, make sure to like and subscribe. I post a video every single day, so you're going to keep seeing me around, so you might as well go ahead and like and subscribe. Now, let's get into the video.
While the culture of the United States is exported all over the world in films and on TV, it also abides by some laws and practices that many consider unusual. Europeans in particular seem to have a hard time wrapping their heads around some of them. From child beauty pageants to gun laws, let's take a look at some American things that Europeans can't understand.
Let's do it.
Sick of commercials. If you're a European enjoying a cozy night in on the couch in America, some of the stuff on TV may shock and surprise you. And no, I'm not talking about Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I'm talking about commercials, which arrive so frequently it makes watching TV feel almost unbearable to anyone unaccustomed to it.
Seals leaks instantly.
Especially pharmaceutical commercials, which usually show grumpy men and women turned into smiling, happy people by the product being sold.
Yeah.
These are usually followed by an almost comically long list of potential side effects spoken at double speed, like Ambien ad.
As well as abnormal behavior.
It's so true. Let's hear it real quick.
Such as being more outgoing or aggressive than normal, confusion, agitation, and hallucinations may occur. Don't take it with alcohol as it may increase these behaviors. Allergic reactions such as shortness of breath, swelling of your tongue or throat may occur and in rare cases may be fatal. Side effects may include next day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. In patients with depression, worsening of depression including risk of suicide may occur.
These types of
It's so real. These are all the time in America. You literally have these medical commercials 24/7 and they last like a minute or 2 minutes. They're so long.
direct-to-consumer commercials peddle prescription drugs, which is an advertising standard that was rejected by the European Commission back in 2002. The Commission stated that pharmaceutical companies were unable to provide impartial information on their medicines. If that's the case, why is it practiced in America?
Fair enough.
There's simply never been a federal law passed to outlaw the practice. This is in no small part thanks to the fact that direct-to-consumer drugs and their accompanying ads are a huge business. And in America, whether it's right or wrong, the rules tend to follow the money. Europeans might actually need a pill for the headache all those ads give them. May cause drowsiness, loss of limbs, telepathic powers, and a violent hatred of cheese. No place like home. Let's say you're a European who's just moved over to America. You found a house in a nice residential neighborhood, and you're going through your bills. Rent, water, gas, electric, all seems in order. But wait a second. What's a homeowners association fee? For a native, that's a pretty obvious question. But for Europeans, it's an unwelcome surprise. These fees contributes to the local homeowners association, which is somewhat like a neighborhood watch, but managing funds to be reinvested into the community. It goes towards things like residential maintenance and common spaces, which keeps residents happy and property values up. With around 24% of all Americans living under a homeowners association,
wow, is that high?
$200 to $300 on average per month in fees to these entities.
Yeah, it's so true, actually. Basically, what they do is they, cut trees, cut the grass, keep the park up, keep the community swimming pool up, these kind of things. That's what HOAs do. But I think also in Europe, you have like maybe cleaning for the building, like the hallway and the staircase, kind of the janitor for the housekeeper. I don't know how you would call it, but that kind of thing. I know it's much cheaper and it's not nearly as much money. But yeah, I've never thought about that. I guess that would be weird for a European.
Now, while some Europeans might struggle with this concept, it was a form of governance that was actually invented by France back in 1804.
Really?
The condominium law was exported to the U.S., where it became incredibly popular. So, for any European that wants to complain about homeowner regulations and fees, feel free to blame the French.
Wow.
Vacant vacation days. The USA has one of the largest economies in the world. A tremendous economy, in the president's words. But Europeans looking to get into the American world of work are often shocked when it comes to vacation time. U.S. workers are not entitled to mandatory paid vacation at all. Usually, the issue of paid leave is left at the discretion of employers. And
Yeah.
yes, that does include national holidays. According to research from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2017, only 77% of American workers had access to paid vacation. Now,
Wow.
the reason that might leave Europeans slack-jawed is because mandatory paid vacation time in Europe starts at 4 weeks. In fact,
Whoa. 4 weeks? Is that actually the minimum? That's insane. You get a whole month off in Europe at least? That's incredible.
America is one of the only Western countries where law doesn't enforce companies to give its employees mandatory paid vacation time. Don't believe me? Take a look at this map breaking down mandatory paid vacation time by country.
Wow.
Only the great countries are known not to give paid time off. It's a working culture that undoubtedly favors employers over employees. Americans might want to think about learning Chinese instead, as employers in China must legally offer 5 days of holiday. Although that is after one continuous year of work.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Some lose some, I guess.
Okay, first off, I got to talk about this for a second. It actually really depends on the job you get. So some jobs give you a lot more paid vacation. For example, when I worked in Dallas, Texas as an accountant, I was getting 3 weeks, 23 days of paid time off of vacation. And so it was pretty good. But yeah, sure, some jobs don't give you any at all. I think what he's trying to say is the government doesn't require it. So companies don't actually technically have to, but a lot of employers definitely do give that paid vacation.
Florida man. If the
Oh,
American
gosh.
states could be looked at as a dysfunctional family, then Florida would be the weird uncle who
Yeah.
once ran away with the circus and wrestled a tiger. The Sunshine State is the third most populous state in the USA and receives over 100 million visitors year on year.
Yeah.
With so many people living between Miami Beach, Disneyland, and Pensacola, a little crazy is bound to be found on the fringes of society. But what Europeans aren't prepared for are the crazy antics of Floridians that make daily headlines. From Florida man believed that he was half man, half dog in March 2019 to Florida man robs bank, strips naked, then runs down the street throwing stolen money everywhere. In July
What?
2017. You can search the internet for almost any day of the year
Florida
and
man.
find a headline announcing Florida man has committed an utterly
Oh my gosh. These images they're showing are insane.
baffling crime. There doesn't seem to be an equivalent for any European countries, although the UK comes close with some of its questionable journalism topics like Britain's fattest woman ate fridge and died.
What?
Let me know the funniest local headlines you've ever seen at stories@bmas.com. VAT trouble. In Europe, like most of the world, tax is built into the price of items in-store and online. So what you see on the tag is what you pay. But Europeans visiting an American store might be left doing a double take at their bill when they reach the register. There is no national sales tax or value-added tax in America. Instead, American taxes differ by jurisdiction, of which there are around 7,000. Differences in these local rates, state taxes, or combined state and local taxes means that final prices for the same item can differ from one street to the next.
True.
For first-time shoppers in the U.S., this unpleasant surprise is a rite of passage that no one asked for.
Yeah.
Tipping point. A meal at a restaurant can be a real treat, but Europeans visiting America sometimes stress about the tip. Although tipping anywhere up to 20% seems normal to most Americans, there's no such obligation in Europe. Indeed, it's
True.
mostly seen as a bonus reward for good service, and in some European countries, it's even considered rude and excessive to leave a tip.
Tipping culture is crazy. The U.S., it's like a minimum of 15% now. If you don't leave a tip, the waiter or waitress might literally like hit you with their shoe or something. They'd be so mad at you, even if they were terrible. And in Europe, that's just not the case because they're paid a normal average wage. Tip is just a bonus, kind of.
The American federal government, however, states that tips can be used to satisfy the difference between the employee's hourly wage and the standard minimum wage. This means food servers, valets, and in-house staff in certain states can be working for a federal wage of just $2.13 per hour, which
Wow.
is about €1.96. So if you're a European visitor,
€1.96. That's insane. Per hour. That's the wage, and then tips make up the rest, are supposed to make up the rest. If you don't get any tips, then, oh well, you worked for $2 an hour.
To the States, get ready to factor in your tip to the overall price of your meal. You might well be contributing to a struggling waiter's rent. Child beauty pageants. If you've ever been unfortunate enough to have watched an episode
It's so true. These are kind of weird. I'm not going to lie.
of Toddlers and Tiaras on TLC, I think you might side with the Europeans on the next matter.
What?
Child beauty pageants are common across America and usually consist of dolled-up little girls being thrust onto a stage to entertain a crowd of screaming moms.
Oh.
It's truly bizarre. But what's
I've never thought about it, to be completely honest, but it is weird. They're just little girls. Like, these girls are like 7 years old. Why do they have to be dressed for a beauty pageant? I've never thought about it. It's terrible though. Jeez.
equally strange is how the craze got started. Child pageants originated from American Better Baby contests in the early 20th century. Babies would
Wow.
be scored on characteristics like weight, quality of skin, and face shape, supposedly in the name of helping to educate mothers on best practices for healthy babies. But of course, it wasn't just for education purposes. There were also cash rewards and trophies for top-ranking toddlers.
What?
This has slowly devolved into the bedazzled tradition of pushing a child on stage in full makeup and styled hair to do a dance routine for prize money. Although some European countries host similar but smaller events, others like France have gone as far as to ban all such pageants, claiming they're an unhealthy way to treat young girls. If you
I think
ask
so
me,
too.
their general creepiness alone should be enough to slam the brakes on child beauty pageants. Honey boo boo? No thanks.
Honey boo boo.
Size is everything. According to an old saying, everything's bigger in Texas. But
It's
if you're
true.
European, you'll probably think that about all of America, right down to its people. It's no secret that America has a little bit of a weight problem. 2/3 of American adults classify as overweight, and it's estimated that almost 40% of adults in the U.S. aged 20 and over are obese. Contrasted
Wow.
to Europe, where a survey carried out in 2014 labeled just 15% of adults obese. That's a king-size difference, with a side of fries. The American tendency to overeat might have something to do with portion sizes in the States.
Think it
A
does.
study comparing portions in Paris and Philadelphia revealed food outlet portions were 25% larger in Philly. And
Wow.
a review of 17 different single-serve foods like yogurt and candy bars found that 14 of them were bigger in Philadelphia. While a one-state to one-country comparison doesn't necessarily represent the whole, Europeans on social media often comment on how much bigger everything seems stateside.
Fair enough.
Have you noticed this difference in portion sizes? Let me know in the comments below. Bonus points for food puns. Oh, sugar. Living in America can really give you a taste for the sweet life, but your teeth won't thank you for it. Why? Well, some American foods and drinks have been found to contain huge amounts of sugar compared.
It's true. I mean, it's so true. Everything in America is loaded with sugar. I mean, think about Nutella, the food. It's like 55% sugar. That's everywhere though. But you know, these kind of things in America are everywhere. Even sodas are just crazy. So much sugar.
compared to their European equivalents. Some common bread brands contain up to 6 grams of sugar per serving.
That's
6 times the
crazy.
amount found in European counterparts. But it doesn't end there. Taking a look at Pizza Hut's sugar content reveals most of their stateside pizzas have close to double the amount of sugar per slice as European versions.
What?
And in
Pizza Hut?
Starbucks, a UK venti white chocolate mocha will contain 62.4 grams of sugar. But in America, that shoots up to 72 grams. I've heard
Hold
of
on.
sweetening the deal.
This Starbucks drink has 72 grams of sugar. That's just criminal. That's criminal. That shouldn't be allowed.
But any Europeans making the trip across the Atlantic might leave suffering from the toothache. Gaps in the market. European
Okay.
standards of building a public restroom involve plenty of privacy, mainly in the form of cubicles with doors that are more door than gap. Seems obvious, but it's a standard that Americans just can't seem to adopt. With ridiculously large gaps at the top, bottom, and sides, it makes for a truly uncomfortable first visit to an American
So
toilet
true.
for unwitting visitors. On their first time, Europeans are left feeling especially susceptible.
This is so real. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, why in America? Why do we have these huge gaps between where the bathroom is and who can see in there? I mean, somebody could literally put their whole eyeball through there and just stare at you. It's so weird.
To unwelcome visitors and peeping toms. Some people even resort to taping up the gap to prevent prying eyes looking in. But as
True.
strange as the design seems, there are some theories as to why Americans build their stalls this way. For a start, high floor gaps allow for easier cleaning, and they do make it simpler to pass toilet paper from one cubicle to another. On top of that, the vertical gaps act as a deterrent for anyone thinking of doing anything naughty behind closed doors. But there's always the chance you might accidentally get a real eyeful. Maybe just close your eyes before entering any American restrooms.
Close your eyes.
Triggered. It strikes many Europeans as a bit odd that in America you can pick up your groceries from one aisle of a store and a gun from another. Indeed, you can buy guns over the counter in places like Walmart, and ammo can be found in pharmacies. But seeing as guns are still legal in many parts of Europe, what is it that Europeans find weird about the gun-loving, rifle-wielding, Second Amendment-touting American citizen? It might have something to do with America's gun-related death rate, seeing as per capita, there were 12 gun-related deaths for every 100,000 people in America in 2017. Very few European countries exceed 3 gun-related deaths per 100,000 people.
Hold on. I'm not going to lie. That's actually a lot for Europe. I wouldn't expect it to be that much, because I don't feel like Europeans have nearly as many guns. So how is it so high? That actually, it doesn't shock me the American side, it shocks me the European side.
And none even come close to America's 12 per 100,000. The causes of the problem are fiercely debated, but it might have something to do with how easy it is to buy a gun. Background checks are usually carried out, but a research survey from Harvard in 2015 estimated that a third of American gun owners have purchased a firearm without a background check. In Europe, many countries like Austria and Germany require would-be gun owners to go through a rigorous 7-step procedure before owning a gun.
Wow, okay.
High-caliber handguns are outright banned in the UK, and many categories of semi-automatic weapons are illegal to own across Europe.
Fair enough.
It's simply much harder to legally purchase a gun in Europe than it is in the US, which I'm sure is a trigger point for some. Have you noticed any...
Insane. That was an incredible video. Yeah, it's actually so true. I think you broke down a lot of incredible things and a lot of whys that Europeans have. I mean, the tax thing is 100% true. The sugar and everything, like, it's real. If you visit America, you're going to taste that sugar and you're going to deal with the tax problem. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I did. And I hope that you're going to keep learning with me, keep having fun, and keep exploring with me. I post a video every single day, so I'm going to keep you up to date. Just make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and you're going to see another video just like this in the future. So hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.